Back again with another video, and thank you for tuning in. Today we'll be going over the Bulls prospects that will possibly be targeted by the team in the second round. With the 38th pick, the Bulls will have to wait a while to select a player, but this definitely will be an important selection, as they hope to find a sleeper or hope a player falls for some odd reason. Of course, they could possibly trade up like they've been rumored to do, but for now, we'll stick with the 38th pick. Here is the current roster of the Bulls and who is under contract, with Satoransky, Thaddeus Young having partial guaranteed contracts, and Arcidiacono having a team option. As you can see, many role players will be headed into free agency, the biggest being Lauri Markkanen, who will not be re-signed by the team. It also feels that the team is spending big on a point guard this free agency, so there's a possibility Santo and Archie don't get brought back. So that leaves us with lots of holes to fill for the depth on this team. Team could use a backup point guard, some depth as shooting guard if Tomas leaves, a small forward, and a backup center. Seems power forward is the only position really intact at the moment, so the Bulls have many options with the 38th pick. The order of the players I'll talk about doesn't matter too much, so don't worry about that. Also, don't worry about stats too much for some of these guys because either played 1 year or didn't get much playing time early on in their college careers. So, with that being said, let us start with Neemias Queta, the center from Utah State. Reminder, if you don't see a player you think the Bulls can target, I either didn't add them because I thought the player might not be there at 38, or I just thought that I didn't have enough time to include them into the video. For example, Herb Jones and Kessler Edwards are both great players, and I have a feeling both won't be available at 38, but I also didn't have enough time to include both in the video. But I'd be happy to talk about more players in the comments. Let's continue. When scouting Neemias, it was clear to see his presence on defense as he blocks lots of shots, and he loves blocking shots. He'll chase down guys and block the shot, and he can recover really well if he ever takes a bad angle. He's a great weak side shot blocker as well, as his defensive IQ is pretty high. He's even shown to challenge anyone in the air. He's not afraid to jump with anyone, and hey, he'll get dunked on, but he'll also block your shot a lot. He has shown flashes to switch onto guards and wing players, but in the NBA it could be a different story. He might be more of a paint guy. He's also a pretty good playmaker, as a lot of his assists came from the post, so his court vision is pretty good and he does a great job of finding cutters to the paint. Now to talk about Neemias' weaknesses, he can't shoot the three. He might be able to knock down a mid-range here and there, but anything past 18 feet is just not going in the rim. It's mostly a mechanical issue for him, can be fixed, but time will tell. He can't guard guards in space, that's another thing. Don't leave him alone on an island because he's just going to get his ankles took. He needs to work on his lateral movement. He's a great vertical guy. He can get up straight in the air fast, but side to side, not quite there. And lastly, he's a good passer when he actually passes. He turns the ball over a lot in the post due to his lack of dribbling skills. Also can't really use his left hand much, so most of his passes come with his right hand and makes it predictable. Thor is just awesome on defense. Standing at 6'8.5 inches tall, he has a length and quickness that makes him a great switch defender. With a wingspan of 7'3¼ inch, he has a rare ability of size and speed to be a valuable defender for any team in the league. He can contest shots from far out and close out guys easily. He'll most likely play the 4 at his current state, but with the ability to play up or down. But I think he could be a small ball center for sure. Great feet and lateral movement for his size, effective in drop coverage and weak side rim protector. He's a strong finisher and slasher as well, and has shown glimpses of stretching his range to beyond the arc, but needs improvement. Some negatives of his is that he needs to shoot more consistently and improve his mechanics, as he can get lazy on his form. He didn't shoot well from beyond the paint and will need to improve. He isn't a good passer and creates too many turnovers, so don't ask him to create plays for others. His lack of production at Auburn was frustrating considering how special he could be, and he needs to be coached up, especially on the offensive end. Very raw player who might take some time to develop. Jason Preston might be one of my favorite players in the entire draft. To me, he is the best player in this draft. It's very LaMelo-like. He can pass in transition from the post and is extremely accurate as a passer. He's even a master of the no-look pass. I'm not concerned about his turnovers like others are, because he was practically the only ball handler on his team, and he was asked to do so much that he took risks. He lives for the pick and roll. He is so creative in it that he should easily find success in the NBA as it is such a dominant pick and roll league. He has very good range. He can shoot very well. Some of his misses are ugly, but his game, like I said, is very LaMelo-ish. He is a three-level scorer. He can drive with both hands and has a great floater game. He is just a super smart offensive player who knows how to use his body to get rid of defenders, and he can get guys open looks and knock down his shots. He can even play off ball too. His knock comes on defense. He isn't that good of an on ball defender and has trouble staying on his guy due to his lack of athleticism. I think his defense can improve though. He just needs to be smarter on that end of the floor. His lack of athleticism will hurt him much more on defense than on offense. I do hope I say this player's name correctly. Joel Ayayi. He is a 6'5 French point guard from Gonzaga who is a very efficient shooter, especially in catch and shoot situations. He's got a smooth release but usually needs to be set up to take his shots. Ayayi is deadly in the pick and roll as he can get to the basket or pop up for his own shot. Plus, he makes good decisions with the ball in his hand to the roller. Being so good in pick and roll should help him find early playing time. He is a great on-ball defender on the perimeter. His length allows him to constantly contest shots. Joel knows when to help on defense as well and forces tough shots. He's a great rebounder as a guard and is a great cutter when off the ball. Took a lesser role this year and a very talented Gonzaga team and still performed. Joel is not the greatest athlete laterally. He tends to let speedy guards drive past him at times. Much better perimeter defender than interior. I think this can be helped with some scheming and him learning how to approach guys on defense better. He needs to get better at fighting through traffic and screens though to get to his guy. His release form is a bit slow, which he may need to speed up in the NBA. Lastly, he isn't an ISO player. Can't really create a shot one-on-one on the perimeter. He will need assistance on his own shot. Quentin Grimes is a 6'4", 3-and-D wing with a 6'8" wingspan. He is a fantastic three-point shooter with high efficiency and volume to make him a legit threat from three. He is a big threat off the ball and is a very confident shooter. If he misses, he forgets about it immediately. He can legit guard 1 through 3 and his size really allows him to get up in front of players to bother them. He moves the ball well on offense as a passer, but don't ask him to run the offense as a ball handler. For being 6'4", he rebounds extremely well, especially on the offensive end, with 1.6 offensive rebounds last year. Now, for him being such a great three-point shooter, he has been pretty bad in the mid-range. He shot about 1% higher from 2 than he did from 3, which is wild. He can't drive to the rim that well either, so he really is just a 3-and-D player at this point. His poor ball handling combined with lack of ability to score within the arc limits his offensive usage and creation to make life difficult for the defense. Also, he's not going to be very useful in pick and roll at this point of his career. Joe is a certified sniper. You need a guy that can shoot threes all day. Joe Wieskamp is your man. He shot 46% from 3 and shot 50% in catch and shoot from 3 this year. He is high in efficiency and volume. He's legit. Tall player with long wingspan, making it difficult to block his shots. He rarely misses when unguarded, and if he is guarded, he'll bang it in your face too. His mechanics are off the charts and can even shoot on the move, shooting 51% off screens. He can go left or right. He's an underrated passer and might be able to participate in pick and roll. Pretty solid finisher around the basket as well, making him a pure 3-level scorer who can create his own shot. Now, despite his height and length, he isn't a good defensive player. He can be a liability on that end. Can't stay in front of his man and they can blow right by him rather easily. No versatility on defense. He either can't put on muscle or didn't try, but he gets bullied by guys who aren't even that strong, just flat out isn't good on defense. Those are all the prospects we have time for. If one of these guys gets drafted, I'll understand the reasoning. Just remember this may be a deep draft, but second round players don't always become much, so if we can find a guy to contribute to the team, this is a massive win for us. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon to talk about who the Bulls draft and my thoughts on it, plus how it would affect free agency. So, see y'all later. Bye.